questions for oral answer, and the first question stands in the name of Jonathan Young.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance and asks, what advice has he received about factors that lie behind the current turmoil we are witnessing on the world financial markets, and what are the implications for New Zealand?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, two related factors appear to be at work: a downgrade in world growth expectations and increasing worry about the creditworthiness of some countries and companies. So we've seen share markets fall sharply while some sovereign debt markets have improved. Credit risk premiums for lower quality debt have increased, and economically sensitive commodities such as oil have seen declines in prices, while gold, seen as a safe haven, has risen in price. Our markets are increasingly differentiating between the strong and the weak. New Zealand is among those countries who are seen as having strong creditworthiness, and therefore the market view of our debt has actually been improving.
Jonathan Young.
Supplementary. What are the main actions the government has taken that are helping New Zealand ride out this crisis and keep interest rates low?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the government started taking appropriate action back in 2008 because it believed New Zealand was vulnerable to just these kinds of events. So we've worked to keep net debt below 30% of GDP, to focus on returning to surplus so that our debt will stop increasing. We've continued to protect the most vulnerable, and we have worked on channeling government spending to where it can be most effectively used, as well as taking a range of measures on the broader economy that will improve our growth prospects.
Jonathan Young.
In what way is New Zealand better placed to withstand the current turmoil than 3 years ago?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, in any number of ways, the New Zealand economy is fundamentally more sound than it was 3 or 4 years ago. In particular because New Zealanders have changed their view of debt, where through the first decade of the century there was excessive borrowing by households. New Zealanders have taken the message from the world. They have stopped increasing their borrowing and are increasing their savings, and that, alongside government action, is reducing the vulnerability of New Zealand to these kinds of events.
Jonathan Young.
What are the policies that put New Zealand's financial stability most at risk?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, given that markets are increasingly distinguishing between countries with strong creditworthiness and those who are weaker, anything that weakens our creditworthiness would be focused on quite intensely in today's market. And the kind of policies that would take you there would be bigger government spending, higher taxes and more debt. And we're not going to go down that path.
Question number 2, Kevin Hay.